We are unfortunately missing Travis Willingham again this evening because he's a pussy and had to go see Avengers tonight. While we are missing Travis, is totally fine. Avengers is a fantastic film. It's a wonderful film, and hope he doesn't spoil anything for us in his return. But he is missed. Travis, we miss you. We'll have you back next week, hopefully. To give you a little heads up on the story so far, the party was hired to find an individual named Lady Kima. She is a halfling paladin of the Platinum Dragon Bahamut is her deity.
And we found her. We found her.
You did. I was going to get to that. So they went seeking her in caverns beneath the dwarven city of Craghammer. After much fighting and surviving, they managed to find their way to a Duragar fortress called Emberhold, where they found Lady Kima captive beneath. They released her, and then, using her help, assaulted the throne room at the top and managed to slay King Murgle of the Duragar. However, in the process, Grog, our intrepid barbarian, was kidnapped by the queen mage before she could be slain, who then also disintegrated a portion of the roof, letting an entire cavalcade of molten rock into the fortress. The party then had to make a heated escape. However, a number of their party members, due to the gaze of a basilisk, or two basilisks that were kept in the throne room as pets, Lady Kima and our Tiberius Stormwind, our Dragonborn sorcerer, are currently stoned. Dragging them out of the fortress as the magma began to fill the interior. A very deft escape was made, aside from Vax unfortunately getting his foot temporarily submerged in the lava, taking some serious damage to his foot. The party managed to make their way outside of Emberhold proper, and you've all taken a moment to breathe at this point, realizing that thankfully, for the most part, you've all survived, aside from the missing party member and a few in a state of flux at the moment. So, you're all breathing heavily. The sincerity of the battle has just come over you. The adrenaline's still pumping through your system.
It's melted off.
It's kind of there.
Mostly. You can see 4 of the 5 toes.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's
4
about
out of 5.
3.5. Glancing around, you start hearing various Duragar screams from above as the individuals that were still inside the fortress are in the process of trying to get out, or in the process of slowly melting in the molten rock. Off towards the bottom base of the stronghold, a number of the Duragar that reside in the buildings that surround the exterior of Emberhold proper are mounting arms and charging up towards the stronghold to give aid to wherever this seeming loud shouting and screaming is coming from.
Can they
Anyone
see
seem
us?
to be paying attention to us? Yeah.
No, they're far enough away where you don't think it's an issue and you're off to the side for the moment, but you do see probably a close to 30 to 40 Duragar are currently swarming out of the small city and making their way towards Emberhold.
Grog can't be far, right?
We still need to get out of the way of these 30 people.
We still need to
So let's go
hide.
Let's at least
And heal.
let's at least follow the path, find a place where we can hide and just
Around a
recuperate.
corner or something. Can we stealth kind of further down?
You can try to. You currently are carrying 2 large solid stone statues with you.
Yeah.
So it's definitely possible, but you're gonna have to come up with a creative way of doing so.
Grog had the rug, didn't
Yes, I can do
Grog
that.
had the
I'm gonna
entire
go
bag
ahead.
of holding.
Everything.
I'm gonna go ahead and cast Pass Without a Trace on the party.
Okay.
Can I use my rope of infinite twine, which I have on my person? I never used.
Alright.
Can I use that and like tie it around Kima and hook it to Trinket so he can drag Kima along?
You can. As you keep hunched low, slowly dragging these stone obelisks of individuals across the jagged floor, you seemingly do so without any of the Duragar eyes catching you through the low light in the cavern. Partially due to the fact that you guys are doing a pretty decent job, and partially the fact that they're more obsessed that the central piece of their fortress right now is essentially about to be completely filled with molten rock. About 20-25 minutes or so, you manage to pull just past where the lava flow dips down into what looks like a small opening in the flooring, and you are past the immediate heat of the magma river. You are now pressed up against the wall of the cavern as it begins to twist around and head downward, further deeper into this subterranean mountainous space.
Keyleth, can you cover the entrance to where we are to give us a little bit more of
No.
a stealthy? No.
I'm
spells?
exhausted. I can't.
Base in
I can
itself.
make another hallucinatory terrain. I can do that stuff.
Okay, maybe you
good.
can make it.
Just close off the
And then
wall.
just make. So I'm gonna go ahead and cast it and make it look like there's just a wall with another kind of lava flow that's kind of come out.
Okay.
And it starts.
I'm going to walk over to Tiberius and cast Greater Restoration on him.
Okay. So So as you're having this discussion, Tiberius, you briefly go from this moment in the heat of combat where you feel your muscles intensifying and tensing up and not answering to your mind's command as you look up angrily at a series of Duragard that have just been blown up by a fireball, to cold taking yourself. And as the cold fades, you are now in the center of a gargantuan cavern surrounded by all your friends. You guys watch as Tiberius' form fades into
Tiberius!
stone.
Yay!
So worried about you.
Or we could cast a spell. That also works well.
What the hell's going on?
But that's the only time you can do that, right?
Wait, she can't do it again? You can't do it again?
I have another 5th level now.
Oh, do you?
Could do it again.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy!
Kima.
Once we rest,
Because I'm
we'll
going
do
to
it
fit
again.
the
Whoa. What happened to all the other little dwarves?
Oh, you don't have to do the accent
you're-
anymore. Method.
Grog is missing, actually, and the queen
great.
took him. Okay,
Are
keep
you
your
stuck
voice down,
like
Grog.
this?
No, I can change back anytime I want, but I really like how I look.
Are we going to rest?
I think we should.
Yeah.
Wait, what about
That would be a
Kima?
good
Don't we
idea.
have to find Grog?
I know.
We have to find Grog, but we have no spells. If we do find him, we can't do anything.
Clarota, what do you think we should do?
Clarota, who is currently like staring at the statue of Kima.
We may be able to leave her here for safekeeping.
I knew you were going to say that. A different option. Oh, and thank you, Pike.
You're welcome, Tiberius. I'm gonna walk on over to Kima, touch her, cast Greater Restoration again.
Okay.
Where do you touch her?
I touch her.
Slowly.
I touch her arm.
Okay.
Don't cheapen this.
Classy. As you reach out,
I want to get in more trouble.
the divine energy emanates from Pike's hand that begins to cascade across Kima's form. Kima, who is in mid-battle with her greatsword in the air, as soon as her flesh returns to her, she
put my
finishes her
shield up.
swing ping, into the side of your shield, and you deflect the blow, and you see Kima for a second. It's like,
Easy.
Calm down.
I know it's really weird.
she throws the blade
It's
down
really weird.
on the ground. And goes, I'm so sorry.
It's
I'm
okay.
so sorry.
You were mid-swing. I get it. We're fine. It was just a shield. We're fine.
She reaches around, she pulls her symbol of
that was
Bahamut out
scary.
from around her neck and just clutches it for a second and says, "What happened?"
We all
You
fought
returned to
bravely.
stone. The king got killed. The queen took Grog. We don't know where.
And Clarota was really helpful to us.
Actually, Clarota got you out of that castle alive.
She turns around and glares at Clarota briefly with a look of confusion and mistrust, and Clarota just goes,
You honestly would not be here if it weren't for the Illithid. It's true.
she glances back at you and kind of gives under her breath.
There's a good chance none of us may be here should it get its way down the road.
Nevertheless, I thank you. It's good to know that at least we took one of their top champions down. The fact that the queen still exists is worrisome, as at least from what I seem to gather, she had the true reign over most of the Durgar down here.
Oh my gosh! Wait, did I hunter's mark the queen?
Yes, you did.
Did I?
Yes, you
did.
You did. You did.
I can use my hunter's mark to track her.
You can?
So you take a moment, you step beyond the boundary of the illusion momentarily, close your eyes and concentrate, and you recall the stronghold. You begin to see a trace where all of a sudden her path in the stronghold is fading and is cold. A new path has opened up in the center of the Duragar city at the base of the stronghold. It seems to have moved slightly in that direction, but you can pinpoint where and is currently at rest somewhere in that vicinity.
She's still close.
Essentially, where the cavern kind of rises up and meets the wall, Emberhold is at the top of that rising of the ground. The floor that crawls up to Emberhold is covered in Duragar buildings. It's a small city that surrounds it. She resides somewhere in the center of that.
It's safe to assume she's brought Grog back to her seat of power. Why would she go anywhere else? She's at her strongest where she is.
I think they're staying.
Now, Percy is.
Okay,
I'm
we're
listening.
gonna rest,
Gentlemen.
Oh, good.
Sleep.
Okay. All right.
Pike, do you have any kind of salve or anything you could help me put on my foot? Or is there any. Could your god
Like a.
help with my little toe?
You have not encountered a person with any sort of physical marring to this degree necessarily, so this is something that you would have to experiment with.
Could I try
New foot.
healing, like just a very concentrated energy just on his foot, like a healing spell?
You can certainly try.
You can do it, Pike.
I'm ticklish.
I'll try
Yellow
Cure
vial
Wounds,
of-
but at 4th level.
At a 4th
We're
level?
gonna sleep.
I start
saying this shit,
building a positive chi, like a healing chi ball.
Okay.
My song of
I don't
rest
think
would that
we do
help at
anything.
all?
Grease them
Your
up.
song of
I'd
rest
allow it.
would actually be of aid to this.
Okay. So I'm gonna sing while you heal, if that's all right
Ooh,
with you.
Please do.
So all the healers convene. Scanlan begins.
Light some sage.
Okay, ready? Wherever you go, whatever damage they've done, we will be right here waiting to heal you. No matter what hit points you take or how your foot breaks, we will be right here waiting to heal you.
All that improv school paid off.
As you take the healing energy you've gathered from your own nature-based casting, you infuse the healing spell you do. How many points did you heal total?
27.
27. Go ahead and make a medicine check. And
Can
find
I
your
apply
medicine.
my luck feat to her?
You don't have any feet left.
Feet pun!
21. As you finish the spell, you can see where the mostly gone second small toe has grown to mostly a full toe, and there's a small stub where the little one is.
You got a toe nubbin. Hey man, we got a little stub out of it.
You're promoting a level of divine regeneration at a very, very slow pace, meaning you've never attempted this before, and there is some progress, but this may be an overtime thing you have to do. Like once a day you might want to attempt this, and eventually he probably will recover.
Lady Kima, Clarota, may I suggest you take the first watch?
Oh my god, what if they start fucking?
Should you insist? And Clota's image just kind of shimmers and vanishes.
Ooh.
Sweet.
Sleep.
Kima is still sharpening her sword, and she kind of stops for a second and goes, "Everyone, I'm sorry you've lost your friend. If he lives, we shall find him."
He will live.
And we will find him.
No, he will, Stanley.
Oh, yes.
Just calm down.
There is only one place they would bring him. Yogvoril. If we are unable to find him within the city, I think that may be the next place to look. The guilt I feel for unknowingly putting you all in danger for my sake is immense. It's because of me and my actions that you even delved this far and nearly lost life and limb. Merely at the behest of Allura, and I just want you all to know that I appreciate it. I really, truly do.
I would really appreciate if you mentioned that to Allura. I'm trying to get in her good graces and whatnot.
She chuckles a moment and kind of says, "All right, well, Allura's a good friend. We've known each other for, God's 15 years now, since we defeated the Scourged Rider, together. But she's always had more of a political mind than I do, so when we were both offered a seat in the Council of Taldore and Iman, she stayed, and I'm a woman of action. And I knew my destiny was out in the world.
We share something in common, Lady Kima. I, too, have left my home and land because I did not want to sit on the Council of Draconia. With the blessings of my father and stuff, I gained ambassadorship on a mission for them, but really just so I
Her
could
eyes
get
have glazed over and are staring off in the distance. I will speak to Allura of your honor and deeds, Tiberius.
Oh, yeah.
We try to have drinks and swap stories every few months. She's a good one.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Who dealt the final blow?
That would be the Kingslayer. Me?
She steps up and walks over to you and puts a hand on her shoulder and gives you a stern look in the eye and kind of shakes your shoulder. She's a halfling, she's not too much sharp.
Okay.
The cruel king is down, and I thank you for that.
Are you congratulating us for being murderers? Is that what you're doing right now?
Murder and justice are two entirely different things, and the deities of all good saw fit that this king's time was limited.
Are you suggesting now that we control the wills of the deities?
No, but we enact them as long as we work within their plans to keep us safe.
It's mighty bold and presumptuous of you.
My life has been given to the guidance of the Platinum Dragon, who has not seen nothing but the positive direction for all of your species, mine, and the rest of the humanity that exists in the material plane. You would do well not to disrespect one who looks out for you, even though you may not look up to him for guidance. The reason these lands that you grew up in are safe and free, as much as they are because of the sacrifices of my brethren who came before me under his light and guidance. I am not saying you to worship him. Each one has their own gods of choice. I just say show some respect.
I do show respect, Lady Kima. I show respect when I feel that respect has been earned.
We're all a bit cranky. Maybe we should just turn
We have a big day
They
to
watched as they executed my companions. Let me explain to you why we are here. I have been on this journey for more than a year. I just returned from the frozen tundra northeast of these Cliffkeep Mountains, heading to meet with Allura, the same friend who brought you here. I saw an ancient vision of the great and terrible god of undeath himself, Orcus. His crimson leathery skin and endless wings rumbling through the abyss itself. He had chosen a champion. One that would unite the material world in the heart of the abyss, bringing a doorway of oblivion to our world. He cut from his own head 2 of his terrible black horns, placing them upon the brow of this chosen warrior. The body of the Avatar was burned away. One of the 2 horns had found a new champion, one who now resides deeper within the Underdark here, one we've now known to be called Kavan. This one who has united the Illithid and Duragar alike under a banner of madness, expansion, and mockery of life. But my visions have told me that we must destroy it. We must end Kavan and retrieve this horn and return it to the Tal'Dori Council to discuss how to seal it once more. Hopefully for all of eternity. Your friend's loss is a terrible thing, but we will try to find him. And should we not understand that his sacrifice was not in vain?
Lady Kima, I only hope you do not eventually become what you fear so much. Good night.
Sleep tight.
She picks up her blade, sits back down, and goes back to sharpening. Shh. Shh. Shh.
That was weird, right? Good night.
Pike, I'll cuddle you for warmth if that would help.
It's already so hot in here
Oh,
with all
right.
the lava and stuff. I would just prefer to sleep alone. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Good night.
That's fine.
Scanlan, I am very cold.
You know what? We better let that foot heal. We better let it heal.
Trinket, go sleep with me.
That's a good idea. Come here, Trinky.
Yes, you've all healed completely at this point. Your mark, your hunter's mark, the spell comes to the end of its effective period, is moving out of the city.
We went that way. We should
So let's go.
Continue that.
Let's just hurry.
As stealthily as possible so we don't alert the entire freaking camp.
We've got past without a trace, so we should be all right.
And you can see now there's a number of parties of Duragar that are now just wandering out through the cavern, presumably in search for you.
Technically, Lady Kima, we might be able to get back in eventually and get your weapon.
As you say that, she kind of like grins to herself and goes, I would like that very much. There's some sentimental value to that equipment.
And there's a vault.
And there is a vault. As you're continuing forward, you find a very, very familiar scent catches your attention immediately as you're tracking through, trying to keep your attention on possibly any sign of grog. It's the smell of blood. It's the smell of fresh blood. You can see a spatter of blood across the wall to your immediate left, and what looks like a mangled mass of once was a Duragar, currently just torn asunder across this rock wall.
The only time I've seen Durgars lit across like this was when we saw the camp of that creepy centipede creature.
With the stalactite
Yeah.
coming up.
These tracks are very similar. You see what looks like these strange dragging marks in the ground, these elongated ones, no footprints. Occasionally you see what looks like a human-sized footprint as well, and then just these drag marks. You also notice that there is just, beyond the rock threshold as you step over towards the wall, you see 3 other Duragar bodies that are just torn asunder, many of them partially eaten and just violently torn apart. Some parts are kind of scarred, some sort of like a burning acidic burn. And you see tooth marks, you see claw marks, and you see portions of limbs that have been pulled off by sheer force.
I think it's another Stitch monster.
Yes.
Stitch monster.
Stitch monster.
I like it.
I do too.
Looking around, what you do find is and there is a very familiar scent that a Goliath barbarian does have. You, using Trinket's help, as you yourself are not quite as attuned, a Trinket does pick up a little bit of grog scent in this pathway. So Trinket kind of gives you a nudge and points deeper down the cavern, and you can see what looks to be a smattering of small Duergar-sized feet, and two grooves.
Two grooves.
Two about 2-inch wide grooves that continue down the path.
Like almost wheel tracks?
No, like they're dragging.
Could very well be wheel tracks.
Like they're dragging, or they're dragging his body.
They're consistent, and their width is consistent
Their
across the
With this, and they seem
There's
clean.
two grooves.
Put him on some sort of stretcher thing.
Yeah, it sounds like they have them on like a
Some
on
sort
a
of
trailer.
Yeah.
Lovely. Well, Grog definitely came this way, as did the Stitch monster, so you don't have much choice but to follow.
You travel for another 2.5 hours down this cavern path. The warmth and that sulfurous smell that was intrinsic to the Duergar portion of this cavern that you were so used to begins to slowly fade, and the temperature begins to drop. Hour of travel, keeping your eyes out, the temperature drops significantly and is actually quite cold. The heat in the volcanic portion of this cavern structure apparently has passed you now. You eventually which by the way, the only light source you have going forward is the light from your staff. You continue down, and the topography, which was once the black, jagged obsidian flooring of the previous portion of the Underdark, begins to give way to a more natural gray sand type texture. Your feet sink about 1/4 inch or so with each step, and you get about 10-15 feet before the color of the sand and the texture changes dramatically. It looks almost like a peppering of small whitish yellow stones and rocks, as well as bits of black and gray. It's like a giant rocky pit out in front of you.
What?
You find sand, and then the sand eventually gives way to like larger pieces of these
So it's like
rocks and stones. Some are jagged.
Ball pit in front
Kind
of us?
of, essentially. What you do notice is they're not stones. There are pieces of glass, little shards of actual volcanic glass scattered across this entire field, mixed with an endless, seemingly sea of small bone chunks.
Chunks?
Pieces of bone that have been rounded off, ground, broken. They're
Bone pebbles.
ancient. Most of the bones that have been here have been around long enough to the point where they've eroded, been broken, destroyed over and over again, to the point where you can't discern any of the original creatures they may have come from. It's just a sea of bone, obsidian glass, and small bits of stone. You do notice there are occasionally some spires of natural rock, some stalagmites that are jutting out in the distance, and you see what looks like semblance of almost like a ruined wall just beyond the edge of the vision.
Can I use my
Let's go to it.
primeval awareness and see if I can sense Grog within 6 miles of us? Well, no. It's only certain types of creatures.
Right.
Which are one of them?
Like Goliath.
Well, no. It says aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead.
That still might be useful even if it doesn't find.
You do notice you sense a number of, a very strong force of aberration-based, much further, like 5 miles ahead, way ahead, and you kind of have this weird, okay, good to know.
I've
this
been
room?
here.
What?
I was here in the vision.
Really?
Really?
Yes,
This
it was
such
a field of broken glass and bones, and I feel like this is it.
So what do we do?
And then after that, I got to sort of a cavern of blue crystal.
Interesting.
so we have to go beyond
So
this.
we're on the right
We have
road.
to go beyond this.
Could you describe the dimensions of this one more time?
Yes.
She has
The cavern itself is about
I don't anymore.
120 to 150 feet wide.
Yes.
You don't see the ceiling right now.
Oh.
It opens up and then continues and then darkness. Once again, there's something about this whole area that just, there's a presence about it. Like it's ominous and everywhere about this floor.
Can anybody send light up and see how high the ceiling goes?
Shoot an arrow if you would, Vex, please. Wherever you wish. Light.
Cast out an arrow as it shoots over, arcs through the air. You get a look of the cavern. You can see it's a large, kind of arched natural cavern with a number of kind of hanging stalactites at the top. It goes up, arcs past, and then lands probably about a half a mile down the way. You do get a nice view of what looks to be more of these little central pieces of broken wall. It looks like there was some sort of either a small series of structures or buildings that were built once within this cavern that have all completely crumbled to ruin with but a few small bastions of foundation that still remain.
Keyleth, if you will.
Yes.
Could you perhaps make a flat, sturdy stone tablet we could all particularly stand on?
Sure. I use stone shape, and I just kind of bend down and make like a big circle where I am and kind of carve out a little cylinder with stone shape.
So using a very earthbendery hand motion, you take a portion of the wall right next to you, send it outward and begin to shape it into this large kind of cylinder disc-like platform that is just on the ground right at the base of the platform.
Everybody, hop on.
I hop on.
Trinket, hop on this rock.
Oh, wait a minute. How much did Trinket weigh?
A lot.
200.
Oh.
Trinket weighs more than that.
Yeah, Trinket with.
I could get us all across, but I cannot take Trinket as well.
Oh.
I'm not leaving Trinket behind.
Well, then-
So, everybody
Why don't we get
on
across?
that and I'll see
You
what
can
happens.
come back and get Trinket.
Okay, yeah. How about you guys go and I'll stay with Trinket? You guys go.
No, I'm not going to leave.
I don't sense any undead with my primal awareness, right?
You sense across the entirety of this bed of bone and glass.
Well,
If you had to describe it, it has some sort of
That was on the pen.
undead-ish realm. It's not your specialty. I mean, it is, like undead creatures are, and the presence is similar to that.
I get my
How
mace of
much,
disruption ready.
Oh, we're done. We can do this. We polymorph Trinket.
That's it! Yes!
We polymorph Trinket.
Very good. Very good.
Into a tiny.
Make him
Do you
into
have
like
holy
a
oil on
chicken.
you?
A Trinket.
Wait. You're focusing on the slab, aren't
You
you?
instinctively kind of like glance around.
No,
you
the
look
slab
down,
just
and
happens.
You notice you
I
are
can cut
the
it
holy
out,
symbol
it's not- it's not stone.
Saren Ray.
Very good.
Has a hairline fracture in it. What was once a perfect and impeccable
She's pissed off her
figure of
god.
design. You've had this your entire life. You look down and see, you don't know how recently, but a portion of the metal symbol itself is cracked.
Oh no,
Her
this
abilities
is
are
terrible.
incredible.
Pray, do something.
I think I know why it happened.
Maybe because you've been killing unarmed people?
I think it was when I slit the guy's throat. She got
It
mad.
could have been.
Just a hunch.
But you know what? We'll do some good deeds when we're done.
Yes.
Oh,
This
we-
is something that I need to fix.
Trinket, what do you want to be?
You want to be a kitten?
Trinket glances over at you and look in an eye of like,
Siamese.
And I go, "Flip," and I make him a kitten. What kind of kitten?
Oh, he's a Persian.
He's a Persian kitten.
Trinket's form shifts down to this tiny white puffball with a pushed-in nose.
I go and I snuggle and
I kind of
nuzzle
tuck
him
him into my little shirt.
You sense immediately Trinket is not necessarily pleased,
It's okay.
but will deal with it.
He's so cute.
So you all step onto this giant stone. It's really cramped. You're all kind of shoulder to shoulder pushed onto here, clutching your new Persian cat. Kima and Clarota step onto it, kind of.
Cute.
I cast telekinesis on the stone slab, and I lift this up and push us.
Okay. The stone begins to glide out over this expanse of broken bone and obsidian glass. You get about 300 feet out before you hear a loud, echoing scream across the cavern. It's male and it's loud.
Keyleth, take the gnomes.
I jump on
Take
Keyleth.
the gnomes.
I'll grab on as well. Why not?
All right, so Keyleth, you transform, maintaining concentration on polymorph for Trinket, I believe, right? All right. And you see what looks to be a small party of Duragar that are in the middle of battle. There is one Duragar who is just splattered across the bone floor. you see a troll that is currently in the middle of a fist fight with something that's moving extremely fast. This blur of motion. You can barely make out the physical form before the troll turns and runs in your direction, surprised to see the light coming towards you, and in its expression of extreme confusion and fear, you see something whoosh past and its head just...
Oh, that's not Grog. Shit.
Shoulders.
We're going to Wood Monster.
The troll body hits the ground. As it does, you see bits of bone begin to rise up and pull the troll down underneath. Two of the Durgar are now like backing up instinctually. One looks down at his feet now that have been grabbed, and he's being pulled under, and as he starts trying to wrestle himself free, this blur of motion jumps off one of the platforms, spins in the air, and lands with a slam that completely splatters across the rock that he's right next to. This Durgar that is, you can see just part of his jaw go flying off to the side, and silence hits him in the middle of his scream. The last Durgar there, you can see, who's looking around, sees the stone platform and goes, "Let me on! Let me on!" And he goes running over and it's trying to jump up towards the stone platform you guys are on. He's gonna go ahead and try and grab it with an athletics check. He makes it.
No,
He gets onto the side.
Kick him off.
We can question him.
Okay, you go ahead and poof, you just beat him in the face. He holds tight.
Oh.
You're not a very strong
I
person,
grab him by the
unfortunately.
cloak. What is it? What is it?
I don't know! Get it away! Get it away!
In eagle form, I'm gonna do a nice high, like kind of
We're on
swing
you.
lap.
We're on you.
I know, it's okay.
And your eagle eyes glance down, you can see, in a brief moment, the blur stops. You see a humanoid form. A bit of looking at the body and the torso, it looks elven. It's very thin and gaunt, legs dangling, as 4 giant, jagged-looking tentacles sprout from both sides of its torso, holding it aloft. 2 of lifting it off the ground and keeping its body suspended, while 2 are whipping around in the process. As you're glancing, you see its head glance up towards the wall. These blank white eyes just kind of shooting around in different directions spontaneously with this kind of maddening look. This, whatever this is clearly insane and is currently driven on some sort of hunger bloodlust. The stitch marks you see across its body are very reminiscent of the earlier abominations that you saw created by Kavarn and sent throughout this cavern structure. You're talking to this dwarf, you're like shoving him off.
Yes,
Rolling
the
as
twins
far as
pull
we
him
can.
up, and 1, 2, 3.
As you chuck the Durgar through the air, the creature who's briefly had stopped, and you guys now see its motion stop, and you get a full view of its horrible like form.
Oh my god.
It's looking up towards where Keyleth is. Suddenly its head snaps back into focus as the Durgar goes swinging through the air. As it does, it licks its lips, and you can see now where its mouth is. The lips curl back and the jaw splits open slightly with this horrible kind of predator-like fanged jaw. And the 2 tentacles that are currently up in the air reach out, grab, and just split it in 2. Its torso then divides and just kind of sprays it with crimson as it licks it out of the air. Everyone roll initiative. Top of the round is the monstrosity. Over to this side. It gets 2 attacks with its tentacles with reach.
On who?
Actually, 3 attacks.
On who?
1 at Kima, 1 at you, and 1 at Tiberius. First one is going to be at you. So you just dodge out of the way. The one towards Kima, which it strikes her armor, but she manages to just like pull out of the way and it kind of gleans off the side. You can see a little bit of this acid scarring across the edge of her leather armor. The third strike going out towards Tiberius. Whoosh, whips out and strikes the bottom of the stone you guys are standing on, which rocks it for a second, and you all instinctually get kind of worried, but seems to have no effect. That was a really terrible opening round for the creature.
Is this all happening still over top of the bone pit?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That brings us to Vex.
Hunter's mark.
All right, so you
Right
mark
on that guy.
Do it.
I'm gonna
us a
hail of thorns that guy.
Alrighty.
Through my bow
No, she just
of
made
blazing bowstring.
Okay, so as you pull back your arrow, you pull it up, you can see the thorns actually grow rather rapidly out of the wood itself. And as you pull back, the bowstring itself ignites, setting the shaft of the arrow on fire as well. As you release 41 points of damage in the first attack from the ranger. You release the arrow right towards its torso. It hits, and it looks down instinctually, and it bursts into a spray of thorns all over its face and its torso. You can see it reels back from the pain. You can see the flames licking up over the front of its body. You can see there's a semblance of clothing on it. Like whatever this thing once was, it's still wearing the clothing it had. And a portion of it is now burned off part of the torso. Whoever this poor soul was, there is no shred of humanity left in it.
Okay.
Tiberius, you're up.
I move us right above the butthole, and everybody, hold on, and I fucking slam all of us right on him.
Okay. All right. So the platform comes cascading down at a fair speed, immediately breaking over this creature, as it is a pretty thin wall to have only been about 100 pounds. Everyone who's on that platform, go ahead and make a dexterity check. However, fall prone on the ground from the impact and land on the ground. That's also going to end your turn. It practically knocked the wind out of you at the impact.
Okay.
That was the unfortunate part of missing that dexterity check.
Okay.
So it takes total 9 points of damage. Crushing damage from the blow of the stone on top of it. Nice. Vax.
All right. Well, I use my bonus action to click my boots of haste together.
Boot of haste.
Boot of haste? But aren't magic items resistant to?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, yeah. And start sneak attacking from behind.
You unfortunately do not get sneak attack on this.
No.
It knows where you are. You do not get the round before of it. Nobody else is adjacent to it because everyone else had to jump off the platform.
So no one's right next to it. I'm the closest.
Currently,
one.
no. You have the closest one to it.
All right. Well,
Because everyone had to jump off as it fell, and the fact that as soon as you rush towards it, its head click over its back and look straight at you, kind of almost the neck bending in the process.
block me.
So the first strike hits. Second one slams, and the poison you feel the poison energy pulls through the blade. Sorry, it is immune to poison. Sorry.
That's all right.
Oh, abyssal abominations. So the second blade goes in. The third one, you go ahead and swing towards it, and it's actually slaps the blade out of your hand. It goes and sticks into the ceiling. Thankfully, returns back to your belt side because magical belts are cool. Kima's turn. Kima, who just managed to land, grabs her sword and reaches over. You can see the divine energy instilled within her blade. She is going to make 2 attacks against the creature. She rushes towards it. Back on that side there. As she strikes it both times with the sword, you can see the first strike hits, the second one she swings around, and she instills with her divine smite. As it slashes across, you can see the torso kind of splits open. And as the torso opens up, you can see a part of its guts begin to spill out. And they begin to slowly pull themselves back in.
Oh, hell.
She's Wolverine!
Scanlan, you're up.
Do I have a clean line of sight on her? Are we too far away?
You guys are about 30 feet up right now.
Oh man.
I'm just gonna blind the bitch. So I cast blindness on her.
Okay, what's the range on that?
It's a girl. It's a her.
Isn't it a girl?
What? No, it's a male elf.
Yeah, well, I'm so demeaning to it. I call it a girl.
Why is that
Because it is a chauvinist, and I know that just by looking at it.
It's a chauvinist.
What's the range on that, Scanlan?
I'm looking.
disadvantage on its roll?
You're in the wrong group to be saying that shit, man.
I can hold my turn. I've never done this before.
Yeah, meaning you can wait. If you're waiting for somebody else to take their turn first, you can hold back until they do theirs. So you can wait for her to pull you closer.
I will wait for that then.
Okay, so
And I love women.
Okay.
Oh,
We know, Scanlan.
We know.
Clorida's going to cast Blur on himself. Clorida's form begins to shift and kind of vibrate in and out of place where it's hard to see exactly where Clorida is standing. Clorida is then going to take 2 steps back. Clorida moves behind one of the rocks here, actually this far, for cover. Keyleth, you're up.
Can I kind of like perch on one of these stalactites?
You can, but you have to let go of the gnomes to do so. So both of you guys get released as you go to
For the
perch on one of these rocks. You guys both kind of land.
But
there
I'm still
there.
on the rock. I still want to be on the rock.
I'm considering you on the rock,
Okay,
but
okay.
I don't want to have to try and balance you right there. So, Scanlan, you land, catch yourself in the bones, you're fine. Pike, you sink into your waist at the impact.
Because my armor's so heavy.
Speed in the way, your inability to catch your weight and use it, you just go like just sticks directly into the bone up to your waist.
You're a no-make
I didn't bring
dart.
my
I am now going to make a wall of stone. I'm gonna make a donut-shaped dance floor, and I'm gonna make a hole in the middle to where he's still in the middle in the bone, but we're all on rock.
That was an excellent move by a strong, independent woman who doesn't need a man to tell her what to do. Or to validate her in any way.
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna boost up Pike.
Okay.
She's halfway underground.
The wall comes out and it stops there. It's as far as you can get it. This whole area now
Thanks, man.
is a wall. It pops you out of the stone. And you guys, as the stone lifts you up, you kind of have to catch yourself for a second, but it's not so abrupt to the point where you get knocked off the side. You're all lifted up about 10 feet.
First thing I'm gonna do is gonna shoot twice into the face of this asshole.
Okay, go for it. So the first shot you shoot, and the body just goes and just like in a totally unnatural sense, just sees where the aim is and is already out of the way before the bullet gets there. Returns, but you catch it up with the second shot from the pepper box and blast into the side of its chest. Go ahead and roll damage.
Oh my god, this is awful. 6.
6 points of damage. Alrighty. Scanlan, you're up.
I'm going to blind him with blindness.
Okay. Fails its roll.
Yes!
Yes!
Suddenly its eyes fill over with black darkness, and you can see it beginning to writhe and move around like it's unable to truly grasp the full surroundings. Pike, you're up.
Okay, so from where I'm at,
Yes, on top of this wall here.
I'm on top of a wall. I'm in a guiding bolt.
Okay.
Oh, 19.
19. So as you look down, you grab your holy symbol, and even though it is cracked, you still feel the presence of Sarenrae looking down upon you. The divine energy coalesces in your hand, and you throw it forward with a divine wrath. As it streaks across the air, it slams into the side of this weird, twisting abomination. And as it blasts into it, you can see its tentacles reel back and pull back in severe pain, and it roars this horrible screeching scream into the cavern around you, echoing down the hall. It's looking a little rough. It's going to go ahead and lash out where it thinks people are around it. Seeing the wall go up, it's going to swing out towards you. So as it swings out towards you on the wall, you duck out of the way just in time. It's going to go for Lady Kima. 18 points of damage with an additional 6 acid damage. And the tentacle wraps around her and grapples her in place, and she's currently held in place by its tentacle. It is now going to attempt to leap away.
What?
It leaps away, taking her with it.
Oh,
This side here, I just want to land about there.
Whoa!
And you can see as it leaps away and lands, the wounds you guys have left on it are slowly healing.
Son of a bitch! I'm gonna do the blazing bowstring again,
Okay.
and I'm gonna attack it twice.
All right, go for it.
14 points of damage on the first one.
All right.
14 on the second one as well.
Nice.
My ion stone, and I conjure out telekinesis from it, and I guide it towards the monster's tentacle to unwrap it off of Kima. And I'd attempt to pull it off of her. To free
Okay.
her.
The tentacle gets to shake and is pulled off of her body. Kima wrenches herself free. She's not currently grappled. Vax, you're up.
I'm running at it, and since Kima's right there, I'm going to stab the bejesus
Go
out
for
of it. 47.
47 points of damage. Whew.
Alright, that's the first attack.
So as you rush past, you slam the blade into the side. You can see where part of it seems to start to open, but it's starting to close up again. You reopen that seam and drag across, leaving a giant wound across its side.
Okay, and then with that knife in, I'm going to stick the other knife in and attempt to attack it, and then drag it to the ground, like grapple it to the ground with my body as I attack.
There's no damage on this. Go ahead and make an athletics check.
Okay. 20, natural 20.
Nice.
Get it! Kill
So
it!
you grab it and you pull it. You have it currently held. Its physical body is pulled to the ground, and you can see its arms are trying to pull it up off the ground and just flipping around completely in chaos in the air. You imagine you're probably gonna have a hard time holding it down, but for now it's currently blinded and grappled.
With haste, I have a third attack.
You do.
I'm going to drag it across its throat. 7.
All right, cool. You bring the blade across, and you can see like the blood begin to pour out from it. And as it does, you can see the throat opens up, and where you cut in the throat, you can see what looks like white gleaming teeth on the inside of its throat.
Excuse me?
The entire interior of its trachea is coated with teeth. Kima sees you holding it down, takes the sword up, swings it. As she comes down, slams it with its sword twice. The first one arcing down with divine energy, streaking across the barely lit cavernous area. It hits the ground, and it splatters blood across. You can see one of its tentacles is like barely hanging on by just a section of muscle and sinew. However, she looks down real fast, and you can see now these skeletal hands are reaching up and grabbing her legs and starting to pull her down. She's unable to recognize. She's now being pulled down into the ground beneath her.
No!
Clota's going to stand here
You need to.
and pull back,
Got a plan.
begin to coalesce this kind of bluish, crackling arcane energy in Clota's hands as it releases this bolt of lightning energy that arcs past just overhead of where Kima is, as Kima's being pulled down below, with a lightning bolt that does a grand total of 7 points of damage.
It's better than one, Clarota! It's better than one!
Clota kind of looks somewhat dejectedly.
That's the best I can do.
Seeing Lady Kima slowly getting taken under, I just make eye contact with her. I make a grasping vine from that stalactite over there.
Here?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm gonna take it and wrap it around Lady Kima and try and yank her out.
As the vine wraps around her and begins to pull, she reaches over and grabs the vine for extra strength, and it pulls her out of the wall. She goes flying over and lands at the side of the stone.
Can I leave it to where she's kind of like, it's holding her up? To where
Sure.
she's not touching?
Yeah, she's currently kind of held aloft by this vine that's kind of like strapped her to this. She's looking confused, like kind of thankful, but also wants to be let go.
I'm gonna crawl and get and find myself a seat on top of that stalactite. That's my first thing I'm gonna do.
Okay, well, at the start of your turn, go ahead and make a dexterity check. You manage to pull out. You can decide whether or not you want to attempt to ascend this or make any attacks this turn, because right now it's going to take your full round to get to the top of this. And right now this wall is blocking you from even seeing the creature. As far as you know, you just see a giant wall and you hear fighting on the other side of it.
I'll make it to the top of the stalactite then. So.
Okay, so you get up to the top.
I have no ranged attacks, except I can viciously mock it. So that's what I'll do.
Do it.
I'll say, you know what? Your tentacles make you look kind of fat, and the elf thing is played out. It's sort of 1990 Orlando Bloom, and the whole bone thing is just really tacky.
So essentially, being blind, all it can rely on really right now is audio sensation around it. And it picks up ringing through the air what hint and shred of humanity within its psyche understands the common you speak in its direction, and for a moment it seems to sag all its tentacles.
3.
Yes! I'm gonna cast Guiding Bolt again.
Okay.
26.
26 damage, nice. Grab your holy symbol again, this time kind of looking up to your hand. This divine energy kind of materializes and shines down in a god ray into your hand. As you gather it with your fingers, it seems to formulate this actual thick rock feeling sensation. You swing it underhand softball pitch with absolute furious anger that slams into the side of the creature, bursting with the divine energy, doing a very sincerely impressive amount of damage for a small guiding bolt. It's going to attempt to break from your grapple. It slips out of your grasp, moves over to this vicinity here, and you can see now it kind of, the tendrils open up, even though its eyes can't see. You can see what looks like a bunch of gills across its body, slits in its torso, and it kind of almost looks like all of them open up in these tiny little mouths. You can also see teeth rippling through them, and expels this cloud of green gas that around everyone within 10 feet of it. A cloud of greenish gas just bursts out from all these strange slits in its body. You feel this acidic fume fill your lungs and touch your skin. You manage to duck out of the way and resist a lot of the damage, as does Pike. Pulling up her cloak in front of the way, you guys take 14 points of acid damage.
Dang.
However, Chlorota and Kima and Trinket all take 28 points of acid damage.
28 points?
Yes.
Trinket's still
No,
attached?
Trinket's kitten form is taken away as the polymorph wears off.
Oh shit.
This bear bursts out from your chest. It does resist. It is no longer blinded.
Oh, now.
You can see the darkness fades from its eyes and the whiteness kind of bursts from its face. Its intent now, as each eye individually darts around and takes reference of all the points of possible attack.
Oh, I command Trinket to move then. Can he?
A Trinket can, yeah, if you want.
Can he try to climb up and get away from it? Oh no, he'll take a hit, won't he?
You will.
Do it.
Okay, Trinket scrambles up the side of the wall. As it does, one of the white eyes that's looking around like an iguana focuses on Trinket. Goes to whip towards Trinket.
Unconscious.
As Trinket climbs up the wall, and then streaks and falls back down onto the bone unconscious.
Bear down, bear down, bear down.
So I'm gonna use blood-seeking bow then.
Okay.
Oh god.
You got it. You're gonna
Make
get it.
your blood-seeking strike now with the fury and anger and frustration. So both arrows sink down. You can see like your jaw is tense, and you can feel the tear running down your face. But you are intent on taking this son of a bitch down. End of your turn. Go ahead and make a death saving throw. For Trinket.
Oh god.
A death saving throw?
3 successes or 3 fails. That's first fail.
First fail on Trinket. Okay.
Wait, what?
I cast Watery Sphere on him and try to capture the guy.
The sphere appears. The creature is ejected from the side.
Ejected?
Right there. So the sphere The sphere is still there, but the creature is ungrabbed by it. Currently, basically, as you create the sphere, pushed its way out of it.
Alright, so I'm just gonna roll along the back of the thing and sneak attack right into its back. 29.
So as you reach back and you angrily take the dagger and drag it down, you actually find one of those seams of its arm and you drag it across the front as the arm actually falls off on the ground and kind of squirms on its own. You've managed to pull one of its tentacles off.
Nice.
Okay.
Kima goes and strikes twice, but as she goes with each blade strike, the head kind of glimpses over, sees the attack, and the body bends out of the way. The first strike, the second one, the tentacle actually slaps the blade out of her hand, and she has to reach over and pick it up again off the side of the ground.
Yes,
the blind was very effective these past couple rounds, but now it's back to its full strength and can see, and you can see now that it's able to see where everyone is. It's much harder to hit, unless you're this guy and this girl. That brings us to Clarota. So instead, it's going to make a tentacle attack against it. That is a, oh wow. That's a 26 that hits, 10 points of damage, and is grappled by Clarota. As Clarota currently has his tentacles wrapped up onto it and is trying to pull it down with both a combination of psionic energy and its tentacle grab.
A grasping vine from the other stalactite and grab Trinket and see if I can
Around his waist.
around his waist.
The vine wraps around Trinket, begins to pull. The bones hold tight and the body is not moving from its position. It's the standoff between the vine holding the unconscious body of Trinket, who is, you can see, like still kind of moving and shifting in the unconsciousness.
Okay.
The bones are beginning to rise up, almost like the slow tide, to begin to wrap over the body.
Okay, I'm gonna spend my movement to get nice and firm, sit myself down, pull out the big gun.
Okay, bad news. You have a pretty clear shot down towards the entity.
Kill him,
Taking the
Percy.
sharpshooter shot. Natural 20 on the sharp.
Go ahead and roll damage for this one.
This is gonna be so much fun. 42 points of damage.
How do you want to do this?
I take the bead and I want to wait till the eye is looking right at me, and then I want to take it right through the eye.
Okay, so as the entity turns around, its head kind of cocked to the side, its tendrils flailing around it, one kind of lifting it up. You can see it begins to reach up to bring a lash down upon the bear that is being clutched into the ground. As its eye streaks around and catches yours, you release, pull back on the trigger.
Boom.
The impact blows you off the top of the stalagmite. You fall in the air, but in that midsection, you keep your vision on as you're plummeting back in this almost moment as time slows, not wanting to lose this moment. You see the bullet insert the head. One of the eyes now goes dark from the crimson impact. The jaw opens slack, with all the teeth exposing, as the back of the head just splatters all across Vax, who is standing behind it. Just, I love it. The giant hole now, where there's, you can see portions of its lower jaw are still visible, but the entire top of its head is gone. You can see parts of its flesh trying to reach up and reform, and then start falling limp as its form begins to quiver and eventually fall apart. The seams all begin to unravel, and its entire body begins to fall apart into chunks. Eventually, what's left is this elven torso that slinks to its knees, takes a step, takes another step, and then falls onto its back, completely destroyed. The bones begin to reach up and take its body. Trinket is still currently being held aloft.
I cast telekinesis and start pulling it up. Yeah.
You're pulling, but unfortunately, whatever cursed force holds this land, it's
Okay,
keeping
I run
top
up
of
and
the
take my
body.
Mace of Disruption, which also has the holy oil on it, which fights against undead. So I take it and I go right underneath.
All right, so Pike, you're on top of the wall. You look down and see this happening with both the effort of both of them unable to do so. You leap off the top of the wall, swinging the Mace of Disruption down in a giant arc. You slam it into the bones on the side of Trinket's body. As you do, you see the actual stone and bones around it cave in and shatter into dust just at the sheer force of your Mace of Disruption, leaving this big old cavernous space where there once was ground. As you bring it up again, you begin just swinging around the outside of Trinket, releasing all the bone in the vicinity. As you do, you also notice that the bone at your feet is beginning to grab onto your legs as you landed.
No.
Begins to give away and slowly back away from you. Between the two of you guys, you manage to now that it's releasing the bone, as Tiberius lifts up in the vine grasping, you lift Trinket up, back up onto the wall, and Tiberius, you release Trinket on the top of the wall.
Immediately give him a healing potion.
Can I take my grasping vine, and I want to reach out and grab the elven man real quick?
So you chuck the corpse up onto the stone wall. So Trinket comes to consciousness.
Trinket! Twink.
As soon as it opens up, and the first thing Trinket sees is your face, Trinket begins to lick the side of your face.
Funny. I'm crying and I'm bending him and I'm saying it's okay. Can I, as I walk, just
Pulls
kinda,
free
like,
of the bones and kind of lifts there for a second. Yes?
can just like keep propellering my mace of disruption like as I walk? on
You
the
can.
ground?
As you're walking around, you're just hitting bits of bone. And as you are, they're just disintegrating, turning to dust. I mean, it's leaving a track, a little bit like a groove in the ground as you do so. You start looking at it, and like the body that the clothes that are on her are soiled and destroyed and are just ruined by whatever process it went through. As you inspect the shoulders where the tentacles are, you start seeing these strange little fleshy nubs. And as you kind of pull away at where the wounds were taken from pulling off, you can see there are arms inside the torso that were pushed inside to attach this entity. You can see like a couple of fingers poking out of each side. Okay, there is a magical essence from somewhere in the torso, but you can't quite ascertain.
I'll take out my dagger and dig into its torso.
Yeah,
you-
yeah.
Begin to pull out bits. The rest of you guys manage to make your way up to the top of this stone wall now. You're all, for the most part, safe. You pull a little bit, and with this horrible, sickening sound, you manage to pull an arm out from inside the torso. The magical essence you were seeing earlier actually is coming from a set of metallic bracers that are on the wrists of this elf.
Take him.
Let's take him. Why I take him?
Ooh, what is it?
Vex, I think you would.
I think it's for you, babe.
Really? What is it?
Translated, it's bracers of archery. You should check them out.
Oh, sweet. I think I could do that. Alright, cure wounds on Trinket.
Okay. Okay. So Trinket heals up to 20. Heals 20 more hit
yay.
points.
Really?
You can barely see past about another 120, 150 feet ahead of you. The sea of bone chips and glass seems to eventually fade into more stone.
Let's get out of here.
Hey, will you lead the way, Pike?
Yeah,
With your
disintegrate
crazy
that
mace
bone as we
paths?
walk out of
Alright,
it.
can I
As you guys push forward, Pike, you're taking your mace of disruption with your shield up and just slamming it, finding for the first time in a little bit of time, solid stone ground. You all take a moment and gather your breath. And as you're taking a moment, you look over and you can see in the darkness ahead of you what looks to be a faint source of light around another large pillar or cluster of stone in the distance.
I'll go take a look.
Maybe.
So you make your way through the darkness around the side of the stone platform, and as you crest your vision, you can see the flickering is indeed a small campfire. Not used for light, but apparently used for cooking. As the scent also hits you, there is some sort of meat currently being cooked on this flame.
It smells good.
It smells pretty good. You're not quite sure what the source of the meat is. You worry for a second because you see the two Duragar that are sitting there currently holding the meat in the center of this are standing next to a giant troll who has its hand on the side of a rickety wooden cart. On this cart, which you can see, there are two sets of wheels on each side. There is a large, lumbering Goliath individual currently held down with bands of iron. Your mind for a second thinks, oh god, are they eating him? But you see he appears to be intact, though with a quick glance as you peer on the other side of the stone column, you can see his body is riddled with scratches and small wounds and incisions, and you can see where streaks of dried blood are across his entire body.
Oh no.
They're gonna try to make him into one of the Stitch monsters.
Yes, they are.
One of the tents opens up, and you see a Duragar female step out, silver circlet across her forehead, long robes. Queen Ulara walks up and starts talking to the other Duragar, pointing to your Goliath friend, to Grog, on the front of this, motions to the other two, and steps back into the tent, closing it behind her as the two other Duragar kind of like grin. One reaches into his pouch and begins to pull out small, looks like metal hooked utensils, possibly to go in for another round of whatever they've been doing.
I'm gonna kill that bitch.
Into my earring.
Come now. Vax just said we should go.
And this is where we're going to end today's session.
Wow, that was.
I know what we're gonna do.
exciting.
Oh
And-
my gosh.
And I feel like empowering to a lot of the females.